If you want to understand why the world feels so fragile right now, you have to look at the 3%. These aren't just rich people, they're the four groups that actually hold the levers. Think of them like this. 1. The sovereigns, the landlords. First, you've got the sovereigns. This is the weird marriage between politicians and central bankers. We like to pretend they're on opposite sides, but they both specialize in one thing: territorial control. They own the ground you're standing on. While we're arguing about laws, they're playing with interest rates and borders. If they get twitchy, they don't just debate, they hit the kill switch. They decide if the money in your pocket is actually worth anything today, or if that shipping lane stays open tomorrow. They are the gatekeepers of the physical world, period. 2. The infrastructure masters, the owners. Next up are the infrastructure masters. This is where the cloud kings meet the commodity titans. Everyone forgets that the digital economy still needs dirt. You can't run a server without minerals and energy. There are maybe 5 or 6 companies that own the entire stack. If you're searching for a recipe, buying a shirt, or just turning on your heater, you're basically renting that second of your life from them. They've funneled us all into these massive hubs because it's profitable, but it means a single bad line of code or a CEO's bad mood can effectively mute an entire continent. 3. The system architects, the designers, the most invisible group. The system architects. This is the alliance between the code guardians and the moral architects. There are tiny teams of engineers you've never heard of who maintain the open source code that almost every server on Earth runs on. Pair them with the massive private foundations that basically write the global script for health and food. These people aren't elected, but they design the operating system for humanity. They don't need power in the traditional sense, they just need to be the only ones who know how the machine actually works. 4. The capital custodians, the vibe checkers. Finally, you have the capital custodians, the massive asset managers and the ultra-wealthy. These guys don't just have money, they control the entire vibe of the market. Through these massive investment firms, they essentially hold the voting shares for every company in those first 3 groups. They're the ones pushing for efficiency over resilience. They're the reason your local supply chain was ripped apart and moved overseas. To them, a fragile world isn't a bug, it's a feature that produces high yields. The reality check: is this 3% evil? Not necessarily, but they're completely insulated. When they screw up, they've got a safety net made of our tax dollars. When the rest of us, the 97%, deal with that mistake, it's a total disaster. We've reached a point where we've outsourced our survival to a very small, very detached group of people. The goal isn't to overthrow them or beat them. That's a waste of time. The real question is, how do we start building things that don't need them to function? Because as long as we have to go through the hubs just to survive, we're all just one bad day away from a 3% mistake we can't afford.